Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite makes the process of becoming a published, best-selling author as simple as sipping your morning cup of coffee. You can learn more about Authors Unite at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have Nemanja Zivkovic, and he is an experienced and hardworking digital marketing professional working as Director of Operations at Default Design, focused on helping people with conversions, marketing automation, and website personalization. So welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, glad to be there.
Awesome, man. So we'll dive into the first one. The first question I have for you is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Well, let me say there is one thing that is always keep following me, and there is the thing that somebody is always watching each step you make. Let me clarify it. Like in the worst moments of my life, every time it happens, something good just comes up. Somebody just calls or send a message or whatever, which solves the problem that I'm in. And it wouldn't happen if I'm not focusing on helping people and giving value and those kind of things. So one example, when it was like in 2013, I was earning for living just running an NGO and writing projects, those kind of things. And in March, when like all the projects are applied, and I'm making money for the living for the whole year, my mother got sick. My father just found out that he has a cancer, and in less than month and a half he died, and my sister was pregnant, so I was just taking care of them, not really have time to apply the projects. And when it sold out, my mother is now okay, sister has a son, and unfortunately my father died, but I still had to find out what am I going to do next and how I'm going to survive. So I was in a marketing field for a while, and while I didn't get a job, I was doing whatever. And let's say it was the early December, I got a call from a guy that I knew, that I met like 2 years before that, who just said to me, okay, we were listening to you speaking about branding and about helping others on a conference in that and that city. And now I'm working in a marketing agency based in Toronto, Canada, and we have a place in the company for somebody who will do SEO and social media marketing, and we are sure that you are the right person for that. Are you interested? So this is actually how things are going on in my life. I'm constantly trying to help others, to create communities, to bring value, and it turns out that I didn't apply for a job ever. Like every time companies or people reach out to me, and that's it. I think that's the one thing that I can underlie as a valuable message to everybody listening.
Thank you for sharing that with us. The next one I have for you is, what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Well, I will focus on what I do in default design and overall in business world. Like I'm focused on conversions mainly because most of the marketing agency around are focused on brand awareness, just promises and not delivering. I mean, if I am helping the company sell and get their earnings up, they will have money to pay me, and that's it. Win-win for the both situation. With marketing automation, actually, I'm helping companies helping companies help their customers to choose their own way to buy their products. What do I mean by that? Somebody can choose as a channel of communication or a platform social media. Somebody is more turned to email marketing. Somebody is turned to, I don't know, Google or advertising. But if you automate all those channels, customers have a chance to choose their own path to buy your product. And also you get a chance to see what's the best sales guy in the company is doing and implement that in the automation process. So every buy is the best buy. Also with marketing, with better personalization, it's something that adds up to automation. Because let's say I have a company and I'm selling like 4 products. Probably, let's say Mark, the customer, is interested in one of those products. Depending on where they are coming from, I know that one project, which one that product is. When I know that information, I can personalize the website, the copy, CTA, photos, videos, everything. So when Mark comes to my website, he can see only things that he's interested in, about the product that he's interested in. So it doesn't look like marketing. We are actually giving him exactly the thing that he wants. So I would say that everything is going in that way, becoming more personalized and becoming automated, because we don't want to waste time on doing things that we can automate. And this is what I'm actually helping people do: grow, scale, and get conversions.
Got it. That is amazing, man. And what is your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
Yeah, I mean, I have one thing that I keep on repeating is be crazy and be consistent in your craziness. What I mean by that is, in today's world, especially if you are in the business, companies go to bankruptcy, the new ones comes out. It's all changing, like not in the days, but in hours. So to make sure that you are ready to compete and to actually survive in that environment of constant chaos. I mean, it's not going to change into less chaos. It's just going to go more chaotic. So what you can do is, and what am I doing? I'm creating craziness all around me. Like when I'm riding a bike, I'm riding the old vintage bike, so I'm getting noticed. When I'm stressed, I'm just dancing around in the street with the people around me. So I'm creating the constant craziness and madness around me. So when I'm in the stressful business environment and I have to be calm and make decisions, I'm calm. And that's how am I handling stressful situations, all the chaos around me, and those things.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Well, it depends. I grew up in ex-Yugoslavia, so during the 90s we have civil war here, and a lot of people went through a lot of suffering. So we were under sanctions, so we couldn't really travel much until I finished my high school, I say. So I needed to do some things differently and to be able to keep my creativity and actually being a child, not being some adult when I was in the age that I should be a child. So I would say stop paying attention to what your friends, your parents are saying. Get to know yourself. Because in my example, I always knew what I'm going to do. It was going to be around communications, about helping others. I just needed to figure out how am I going to do that. But nobody really understood me. Not my parents, not my friends, because they didn't experience those things. They didn't happen. Internet didn't happen at that time. So I want to emphasize keeping calm, working hard, and dream big, and be persistent with that. Don't tell anybody tell you that you cannot that you can't do something.
Mm. And in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
It all depends what your goal in life is. Like, my goal is to help as many people and businesses as possible. That's a huge goal, which, I dream big, so I probably won't ever achieve it. And it gives me a peace and a calm during daily problems that I'm facing. And if you are doing what you love, you don't get really stressed, because you are focused on the big goal, and small goals don't actually get in your way. And besides that, stop paying attention to the things that you cannot control, the things that are dependent on other people. Just focus on things that you can control, and that's it.
And what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
This is interesting. Like, I read a lot of books. I'm reading like 3 books in every 2 weeks. And I'd say one that actually not a book, but a writer, Karl May, is the German writer who wrote like stories from the Wild Wild West, like Winnetou, the Indians, Saul, Firehand, Old Shatterhand. Why exactly those books? Because those people are always, the characters from the books are always focused on values, on helping others. They have strong principles. And this is how I learned those things from those books. Besides books, I would say comics, because I wouldn't be here in marketing working right now if I didn't read comics. I learned how to do dialogues, how to communicate. I was observing how the communication is set up in the books and doing that. So as you can see, I'm actually reading things, trying to get out of the books the things that I can implement in my life.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
I told you already that I'm trying to keep the madness around me. So keep it funky is probably my favorite quote. I'm always trying to be funky and try to have that good vibe around me. If you want to get it more like turn to business and those kind of things, like nothing is impossible and everything is easier than it looks. I don't know who said it, but it's totally true. When you starting to grow up, you're starting to get into the business world, a lot of things seems so far away, impossible, and hard to get and hard to achieve. And when you start doing it, you can see that nothing is impossible and everything is easier than it looks.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for coming on. The last question before I let you go is, where's the best place for people to find you online?
I'm everywhere online. So from LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I have my own Facebook group, Funky Marketing in Business. Everybody are welcome to join. So wherever whichever platform you're using, just feel free to send a message, say hi. I don't know. Let's create a conversation and start from that.
Perfect, man. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.